Welcome to another dive. And today we are going to do something a little bit different.
Ooh, okay.
We're gonna take a look at the career of a single person.
All right, sounds interesting.
And so today we're going to take a deep dive into Zinedine Zidane.
Zidane.
So we've got a lot of sources, but we're primarily going to be using Wikipedia as our main source.
Excellent.
So Zinedine Zidane, huge name in football,
Yeah.
both as a player and as a manager.
Right.
And we are really going to try to get to the bottom of what made him so good.
Okay. Yeah, he is certainly considered one of the greats, so I think this will be very illuminating.
So what can our listeners expect to hear today?
Well, we're going to kind of go through his whole career, start with his youth, his early playing career, his ascent to, global stardom. We'll talk about his international career as well.
That's right. I mean, the guy won a World Cup.
Exactly. And then we'll see how he transitions from being a player into a manager.
Really fascinating how he was able to have such an impact in both roles.
Absolutely. And we'll delve into what people thought of him, what his legacy is. And then at the end, just to round things off, we'll give a little list of some of his honors and records.
Okay, great. So let's start right at the beginning. Those formative years before everyone knew his name. Where did it all start for Zidane?
Well, he was born in Marseille in 1972.
Okay.
And he started playing football very young, like most kids who go on to, become professionals. So his youth career took him through a series of clubs.
All right.
Starting with AS Foresta in 1981, then US Saint-Henri, then SO Septembre-les-Valiants. All these are in the south of France.
Okay.
And finally, Cannes.
Okay, so this is where he sort of honed those skills.
Exactly. This is where he developed the fundamentals.
Yeah, and from there he makes his professional debut with Cannes, right?
That's right. So from 1989 to 92, 61 appearances and 6 goals.
Okay.
Not a bad start at all.
No, pal.
But then things really start to pick up when he moves to Bordeaux in 92.
Okay, so Bordeaux, this is a big step up, right? I mean, they're in League One.
Absolutely.
He's with Bordeaux from 92 to 96. What were some of the highlights there?
He becomes a key player for them almost immediately.
Okay.
139 appearances, 28 goals. They win the Intertoto Cup in 95, and they also reach the UEFA Cup final in 96.
Oh, wow.
But they lose to Bayern Munich.
Okay.
So not quite the fairy tale ending, but they lose to Bayern Munich.
Okay.
So not quite the fairy tale ending,
No.
but you can already see he's destined for great things.
Yeah, and it's interesting, at Bordeaux, he starts to play with Zizou and Dugarry.
Right. And those three become like this sort of core of the French national team later on. It's like they were building their chemistry at Bordeaux.
Yeah, really interesting how those early relationships can sort of pay off later down the line.
Definitely. And there's this crazy anecdote from this period.
Oh.
So apparently Blackburn Rovers were interested in signing Zidane, but the owner, Jack Walker, said, "Why do we need Zidane when we have Tim Sherwood?"
Oh, my goodness.
Can you believe it?
I mean, Zidane, it's unbelievable.
Talk about a missed opportunity.
Huge. But hey, everyone makes mistakes, right?
Right. And to be fair, at that point, Zidane hadn't really exploded onto the scene yet.
True. But still, Zidane.
Yeah. And it's not just Blackburn. Newcastle United also had the chance to sign him for $1.2 million.
Well,
And they turned it down.
believable. Wow. I bet they regret that one now.
No, I'm sure they do.
All right, so despite those missed opportunities in England, Zidane's career is on the up and up.
Absolutely. By 96, he's named League One Player of the Year.
Okay.
And that's when Juventus comes calling.
All right, so Juventus, huge club, reigning Champions League winners. What a move for Zidane.
It was a real statement of intent from both sides. Zidane wanting to compete at the very highest level, and Juventus wanting to bring in one of the most exciting talents in Europe.
So he's with Juventus from 1996 to 2001. What can you tell us about his time there?
Well, he slots right into the team,
Okay.
and he makes an immediate impact. They win the Serie A title in his first season.
Wow.
That's 96-97. And they also win the Intercontinental Cup that year. And he's named Serie A Foreign Footballer of the Year.
So he's basically just dominating right out of the gate.
Pretty much, yeah. He goes on to win another Serie A title with them in 97-98, and also the Toto Cup in 99.
Okay, so he's racking up the trophies.
He is. And his teammate Edgar David said something really interesting about him.
Oh, what's that?
David said that Zidane creates space where there is none.
Wow. That's a great way to put it.
Right. And he also talked about his incredible technique and his imagination.
Yeah. I mean, when you watch him play, it's like he's always one step ahead of everyone else.
Exactly. And he makes it look so effortless.
It's like he's got this innate understanding of the game.
Absolutely. And so in 1997, he actually gets selected to play for a European XII against a World XII.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. It shows you that he's already considered one of the best players in the world at this point.
Yeah, I mean, playing alongside Ronaldo and Batistuta, it's a pretty elite group.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's achieving great success at Juventus, but there's still something missing, right?
Yeah. They come close, but they don't manage to win the Champions League.
Oh, right.
They're runners-up twice, once in 97 and again in 98.
Okay.
So that Champions League glory eludes him during his time in Turin.
All right. But then in 2001, he makes a move that sends shockwaves through the football world.
Oh, yeah. The move to Real Madrid.
A world record transfer fee. $77.5 million.
That's an insane amount of money, even by today's standards.
It is. I mean, it shows you just how highly rated he was. So this is the Galactico era at Real Madrid.
Right.
They're assembling this team of superstars. Figo, Ronaldo, Beckham, and Zidane is right at the heart of it.
And the expectations are huge, the pressure is immense, but Zidane thrives in that environment.
He does. He leads them to the Liga title in 2002-03. And most
We
importantly,
have a Champions League.
yes, that elusive Champions League trophy, 2001-02.
And we have to talk about that goal in the final.
Oh, yeah. Against Bayer Leverkusen.
That left-footed volley. It's one of the most iconic goals in Champions League history.
I mean, the technique, the audacity, the fact that it was the winning goal. I still get goosebumps thinking about it.
It's a moment that will live forever in footballing folklore.
It is. And then on top of that, he wins the FIFA World Player of the Year award in 2003.
Yep. Third time he's won that award.
Incredible.
I mean, Alfredo Di Stefano himself said after that award that Zidane was a worthy winner.
Wow.
High praise indeed.
And then in 2004, he gets voted the best European footballer of the past 50 years in the UEFA Golden Jubilee poll.
That's amazing. 50 years. I mean, you think about all the incredible players who have graced the European game, and he's chosen as the best.
It's hard to argue with that. So he's winning trophies. He's receiving individual awards. He's being recognized by legends of the game.
He's at the peak of his powers.
He is. And even towards the end of his time at Real Madrid, he's still performing at a high level. In his last season, 2005-06, he scores his first hat against Sevilla.
Right, and he finishes the season as their second highest scorer and assist provider.
Wow, so even as he's approaching retirement, he's still a key player for them.
Absolutely. His farewell match against Villarreal in May 2006.
Oh, yeah.
Super emotional. The fans unveiled this banner that said, "Gracias por la magia."
Thanks for the magic.
Yeah.
What a perfect tribute.
And the tributes keep coming. Years later, he's named in both Real Madrid's and Juventus's greatest ever exentus.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. It shows you the impact he had on both of those clubs.
Okay, so that's his club career. But we can't forget about his international career with France. Arguably just as impressive.
Absolutely. I mean, this is the guy who led France to World Cup glory.
So his journey with the national team starts in the youth ranks, right?
Yep. He plays for the under-16s, under-17s, under-18s, and under-21s. And he even wins a bronze medal with the under-21s at the 1993 Mediterranean Games.
Okay, so he's clearly a special talent from a young age.
Absolutely. And then he makes his senior debut in 1994.
And what a debut it is.
Yeah. He comes off the bench against the Czech Republic.
Okay.
And scores 2 late goals to rescue a draw.
What a way to announce yourself on the international stage.
Oh, no! And then Eric Cantona gets suspended.
Right.
And Zidane steps into that playmaker role for France.
Okay.
It's a turning point in his international career.
Yeah, because he really makes that role his own. And then in 1996, he plays in his first major international tournament, Euro 96.
Right. France reached the semifinals.
Okay.
But Zidane himself has said that he didn't play his best football at that tournament.
Yeah, but he still scores in penalty shootouts in both the quarterfinal and the semifinal.
True. He shows nerves of steel.
He does. Okay, so then we come to 1998, the World Cup, on home soil.
I mean, the pressure must have been immense.
Oh, yeah. I can't even imagine.
But Zidane handles it brilliantly.
Well, he starts well. He sets up a goal in the opening match against South Africa.
Right.
And plays a part in another. But then he gets sent off in the next game against Saudi Arabia.
Oh, yeah. That red card. That was a big moment.
It was. First French player ever to be sent off in a World Cup finals match.
Crazy.
But France managed to get through the group stage without him, and then he comes back for the knockout rounds.
And he's instrumental in their success.
Yeah, they beat Italy in a penalty shootout in the quarterfinal. Then they beat Croatia in the semifinal. And then, of course, the final against Brazil.
One of the most iconic World Cup finals ever.
It is. And Zidane scores 2 goals, 2 headers.
Incredible.
Well, France win their first ever World Cup.
What a moment.
It is. And then there's that famous image of Zidane's face projected onto the Arc de Triomphe with the words, Merci Zizou.
Chill.
I know. It just gives you chills.
It's one of those moments that transcends sport.
It really does. And it elevates Zidane to legendary status in France. He becomes full of national pride.
Absolutely. And the success continues.
Yeah. They go on to win Euro 2000, and Zidane is named player of the tournament.
I mean, he's just unstoppable at this point.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
So they're the reigning world champions. They're the reigning European champions. And they go into the 2002 World Cup as huge favorites.
Right. But then things go horribly wrong.
They do. They crash out in the group stage.
Yeah. Well, without even scoring a goal.
I know. It's the worst performance ever by a defending champion in World Cup history.
Unbelievable.
So what happened?
Well, Zidane was carrying an injury going into the tournament.
Oh, right.
A thigh injury. And he misses the first 2 group matches.
Okay.
And then he comes back for the 3rd game against Denmark. But he's clearly not fit.
Yeah.
And the team as a whole just doesn't perform.
It's a real reminder of how important key players are.
Absolutely. Especially someone like Zidane.
Okay, so after that disappointment in 2002, they bounce back at Euro 2004.
Yeah, they reach the quarterfinals.
Okay.
And Zidane plays well. He's named in the team of the tournament.
Okay.
But they lose to Greece.
Right.
Who go on to win the whole thing.
Yeah, what a tournament that was.
It was. And then we come to the 2006 World Cup.
Zidane's last hurrah.
He'd already announced that he was going to retire after the tournament.
Okay.
And it's a really dramatic World Cup for him.
It is. He has moments of brilliance, but also moments of controversy.
Right. So he scores this incredible Panenka penalty in the final against Italy.
Yeah, I remember that. So much confidence.
Yeah, he becomes one of only 4 players to score in 2 different World Cup finals.
Wow.
And he equals the record for most goals scored in World Cup finals.
That's incredible.
But then, of course, there's the headbutt.
Oh, yeah. On Marco Materazzi.
The extra time.
Right.
He gets sent off, misses the penalty shootout, and Italy win.
Yeah. I mean, that headbutt is one of the most infamous moments in World Cup history.
It is. It's crazy how one moment of madness can overshadow so much brilliance.
It is. But despite that red card, he still wins the Golden Ball as the player of the tournament.
Which is pretty remarkable when you think about it.
It is. I mean, it shows you just how good he was throughout the rest of the tournament.
Even Pep Guardiola said that Zidane was the difference for France in that World Cup. He said that the team played with a different kind of order and control when Zidane was on the pitch.
Interesting.
So yeah, a bittersweet end to an incredible international career.
It is. Okay, so Zidane retires from playing, but he doesn't stay away from football for long.
Nope. He moves into coaching.
Okay.
And he starts with Real Madrid Castilla.
So that's Real Madrid's reserve team.
Right. He's there from 2014 to 2016.
Okay, so he's learning the ropes, getting some experience under his belt.
Exactly.
And then in 2016, he gets the big job.
He's appointed manager of Real Madrid's first team.
Huge pressure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's real giants.
He is. But he handles it like a pro. And he achieves incredible success.
He does. In his first spell as manager, he wins the Champions League 3 times in a row.
3 times. That's unbelievable.
I know.
2016, 2017, and 2018. He's the first coach ever to do that.
Amazing.
It is. And he doesn't just win the Champions League. He also wins the UEFA Super Cup twice. The FIFA Club World Cup twice.
La Liga?
The Supercopa de España.
It's an incredible haul of trophies.
It is. And in 2017, he's named the best FIFA men's coach.
Thoroughly deserved.
Absolutely. So then in 2018, he resigns.
Right. A bit of a shock decision.
It was. But then he comes back in 2019.
And wins another La Liga title and another Supercopa de España.
Yeah, he seems to have this really special relationship with Real Madrid.
He does. He understands the club. He understands the fans. And he knows how to get the best out of those players.
Yeah, and he's a legend at the club.
Knows how to get the best out of those players.
Yeah, and he's a legend at the club anyway, so he's got that instant respect.
Definitely.
Okay, so after he leaves Real Madrid for the second time, there are all these rumors about him taking other jobs.
Right. Like the PSG job.
Yeah.
The French national team job.
Right. But he turns them all down.
He does. He even turned down the chance to coach the United States after the 2022 World Cup.
Wow.
So it seems like he's biding his time, waiting for the right opportunity.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up next.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's talk about his legacy.
Okay.
As a player,
Yeah,
I mean, he's considered one of the greatest of all time.
absolutely.
He's been praised by so many legends of the game.
Pele, Maradona, Platini, Cruyff, they've all said amazing things about him.
Yeah. What are some of the things that they say about him?
Well, they talk about his elegance, his
Hmm.
technique, his vision, his intelligence.
Right.
Platini said that he was the Mozart of football.
Wow.
And Maradona,
That's pretty high praise.
it is. And it's not just his fellow players who recognize his greatness.
No.
ESPN in 2002 described him as the greatest player in the world's biggest game.
Wow.
And he's been named in all sorts of all-time greatest teams.
Like the FIFA World Cup Dream Team.
Right. And the UEFA Team of the Century.
Yeah, he's won pretty much every individual award there is to win.
He has 3 FIFA World Player of the Year awards, 1 Ballon d'Or, the Euro 2000 Player of the Tournament Award, the 2006 World Cup Golden Ball.
And he's also broken all sorts of records.
He was the most expensive player in the world for 8 years,
Wow.
from 2001 to 2009.
Okay.
And he's one of only 4 players to have scored in 2 different World Cup finals.
Okay.
So yeah, as a player, his legacy is pretty much secured.
It is. And as a manager?
Well, he's still relatively early in his managerial career,
True.
but he's already achieved so much.
He has.
Yeah.
Those 3 consecutive Champions League titles are a pretty good place to start.
They are. And he's already broken a bunch of records as a manager as well.
Okay, like what?
Well, he's got the best winning streak in La Liga history
Okay.
and the most consecutive away wins in La Liga history.
Right.
And he's the only person to have won the Onze d'Or as both a player and a manager.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
It is. And he's also the only person to have won the FIFA World Player of the Year award and the FIFA World Coach of the Year award.
Okay, so he's a legend as both a player and a manager.
Absolutely.
And his influence extends beyond football as well.
Right.
He's been in loads of adverts.
For Adidas, Louis
Yeah.
Vuitton.
Right.
He's been in video games.
Songs have been written about him.
There's even a statue of him headbutting Marco Materazzi.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's pretty controversial,
It is.
but it shows you how much of a cultural icon he is.
Definitely. Okay, so to wrap things up, I think it's fair to say that Zinedine Zidane is one of the most gifted and successful footballers of all time.
I think that's a fair assessment.
He's a joy to watch as a player.
Absolutely.
And he's already proving to be a very successful manager.
He is.
So what can our listeners take away from all of this?
Well, I think the main thing is that Zidane was just a special talent.
Okay.
He had this incredible ability to control the game, to make things happen.
Right.
And he was always so calm and composed under pressure.
Yeah, he always seemed to have time on the ball.
He did. And he used that time to great effect.
Yeah, he could pick a pass, he could score goals, he could dribble past players.
He was the complete player.
He was. And I think the other thing to take away is that he was a winner.
Absolutely. He won trophies everywhere he went,
Right.
as a player and as a manager.
Exactly. And he did it all with this incredible grace and elegance.
He did. He was a true role model.
He was. So if you're a football fan, I'd definitely go back and watch some of his highlights.
Oh, yeah. There's some amazing footage of him online.
There is. And if you're interested in coaching, I think you could study his methods.
Definitely. He's got a lot to teach us.
He does. All right, well, that's it for our deep dive into the career of Zinedine Zidane. Thanks for listening.
It's been a pleasure.
So what do we have coming up next time?
Next time, we are going to be taking a deep dive into the history of artificial intelligence.
Oh, wow.
Using the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy as our main source.
That sounds fascinating.
It is. It's a really complex and rapidly evolving field.
It is, and it's having a huge impact on our lives.
Absolutely. So we're going to try to unpack some of the key concepts
Okay.
and explore some of the ethical implications.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
Okay, well, thanks again.